Good evening, good evening. So it's been a while since I've made like an actual recorded video. A little bit. I've been mostly doing streams. Had a really good stream on the Black Brain Trust talking about Internet of Things, IoT devices. But in this video, I want to talk a little bit more about society and societal norms, or things that are becoming normal, or things that are being put into the public lexicon, if you will. So blended families, the Brady Bunch, really. I understand it for people with certain incomes. It's probably the best thing that people can do is actually come together as a family unit and start attacking the wealth disparity or issues with finances together. So definitely, I understand the need for blended families and its allure, if you will. But what I don't understand is kind of like blended families used as a buzzword in the sense of, or as a way to explain away or make it hip that, you know, you have two people coming together that are having kids out of wedlock, or having kids out of long-term relationships, or not having long-term relationships, single parent households, and coming together as if this is some type of like benefit, as if, coming together and being a blended family is somehow an ideal thing. It's like, it's not. If anything, you could, if everything is like, as sweet and easygoing and one shot, uh, the person that you mate with the first time would be the person you mate with forever. That doesn't happen a lot, and that's a part of, the programming that we are all a part of on a regular basis, where we don't, quote unquote, pick the right person, or we have the right person around us for long periods of time, and we just put them in the friend zone, or put them at a lower rung or lower priority. And I've been in that situation on both sides. I've been in a situation where I've been shelved in some cases. Um, and, the person calls me up in the middle of the night, and they ask me straight up, hey, do you want to be my boyfriend? And it's just like, or do you, do you want to start dating or something like that? And I just said to that person, no, no, let me tell you why. And, went into it. But it was just, I said, short answer, no. And then long answer, this is why, so on and so forth. I've been in that situation, but it's just like, okay, what happened when I was uh, who the person I was before? What changed about you? So on and so forth. So this is what happens, is that we have the option is available that we can always, quote unquote, go back to a person and talk to them and try and make something happen. And I think that's a problem in and of itself. So when it comes to things like blended families, people can go back to friends. People can go back to people that they neglected or overlooked prior to, the certain point that they are in their lives. Um, and we always talk in the MGTOW red pill as a man. We talk like women doing this to us as men, but in a blended family, both sides have kids, so yeah, you really can't talk in you can't talk in that manner in a subject like this. But you do see it quite a bit, where it is women that kind of sell and even buy into the blended family narrative, which just doesn't make any sense to me. Because if a woman is coming to me and she's a single mother, she has a child, there's a lot of things that I'm looking at. There's a lot of things that I'm doing to, quote unquote, vet this person, and talking to her more and understanding a little bit more about why she's in the situation she's in. And also, one of the bigger things is, what does she want out of a situation together, and what does she want, for herself, because even being a person that's MGTOW red pill, uh, and I use those interchangeably, but there is a difference. But red pill is more of like being aware of some of these truths, these things that happen in nature, and then MGTOW is more or less not just being aware, but taking action on that awareness and trying to also make changes and get a better understanding of why the issue, whatever it may be, actually persists or exists, and finding better understanding. And that's how I understood MGTOW. That's how I got into it, and that's what I really believe in the space. So, when it comes to relationships as with a woman as a MGTOW, the person this woman is still a person. So they're always going to want something that is beneficial to them. Blended families, for instance, this woman now, she gets help. She gets some type of provision. Even if it's the man paying all the bills and she still works, well, then now she can take that money and do whatever she wants to or would like to with it. Now, part of being a red pill aware man and in these situations, one of the things that you're supposed to do is start talking to this woman about, like, okay, well, you got all this extra money or this now free disposable income because you're not paying rent anymore. Well, what are you doing to better your life and put yourself in a better situation? What if it doesn't work out between you and I? You mean maybe you're a year or two with me. Sorry. You're with me for a year or two and you're still in the same place in terms of finances, debt, investments, earning, level of earning. You're still in the same place, um, you know, as you were when you got in, if in some cases not worse. I think if you get into a relationship with somebody, you should make them better, and they're in turn, and in turn, they should make you better as well. Um, but if you're not doing that, if you don't have a relationship that is beneficial to both parties, that allows both parties to grow, uh, then it doesn't make any sense. So when you look at things like a blended family, if you're not approaching a blended family with that in mind, with that type of thought process in mind, then it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just totally foolish to do it, and it's also selfish because really you're getting into it where the other person's not getting much out of it, but you possibly are. And this is like this is what I see, like when I talk to people. Like, I've talked to people about this blended family, talk to people about co-parenting and that bullshit. And I say it's bullshit because I just heard that from like close people that are close to me, and then even a woman I've dated before previously earlier this year, and it was just the weirdest shit that this is what you want, this is okay, this is your normal, this is what you find, like, this is what you accept in a lot of ways, which is just I just can't do it because it's like if you look at it and you tell the people tell the person like, hey, this doesn't get you where you want to be, then I just don't see how this is something that you should want, even though you're told that you shouldn't do it. So, and nothing's perfect, but there's some things you can definitely help. And a lot of people, you're seeing a lot of people where they're going into relationships and they're thinking co-parent, and whether they like to admit it or not, or know what the word is, or know what that scenario looks like, you're seeing people where before the kid is even 1 years old, they're already broken up. Before the kid is even out, they're already broken up. I've seen dating profiles of women where they're literally pregnant in the dating profile. So when you see something like that, nah. And the only way I could ever get with a woman like that is she's going to have to promise to drop a kid for me right after that, or if she doesn't, then I'm out. Like, if I decide to take that on, like, listen, you're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to put one in your belly. Like, I'm not playing it with you, you know. So, and that's kind of like how I look at it. But anyways, um, if you're in, say, a blended family, people aren't thinking about just, they're thinking about blended family as like, oh, okay, this is a great way to sell taking care of another person's kid. This is a great way for my spouse to buy into, to buy into taking care of my child from a previous relationship. to buy into the costs that come along with that, to buy into um, the the responsibility level of responsibility that comes along with that, the hardships that come along with that, the also the in some cases lack of authority that comes with that, especially a man disciplining another woman's child, and even the same thing vice versa. Like I can't talk to the usual, like I can't talk to that little dude. He's not playing right, or he's not doing what he's supposed to, or I can't talk to her daughter because she be like protecting her daughter, so on and so forth. Like a lot of people don't think about they just think about the companionship, but they don't think about what you're going to have to give up and what you're going to have to allow and not turn a blind eye to, but you're going to have to accept that, hey, this is what's going to happen under this person's eye or tutelage or what have you, you know and hopefully you don't get a bad person that abuses your child in any way, shape, or form, male or woman, male or female, because you're seeing a lot of these women are starting to crack, as I like to say. Like a lot of these women are walking around cracked and don't know what the hell to do, and they just fucking lose their mind and off the kids. So you're seeing a lot of that. But when it comes to this blended family, it's much like a buzzword. It's not something where people are really thinking this out. They're getting relationships or even marriages, and really it's an excuse or another way, another title of saying, or another way of saying, hey, listen, we're just fucking and we both got kids. It's not even the true Brady Bunch. It's not even what we saw in that TV series where they were married, and I think the father was an engineer and the wife was, I think, a homemaker. It's like we're not seeing any of that. Even if the wife in this case is not a homemaker and the father is out there working, what if they're both working, and she's not a homemaker and you're not like just the breadwinner of the family, like what's happening, what's the dynamic look like? And you're seeing a lot where that dynamic is not really discussed. You're not talking to one another and saying, hey, this is what I expect to happen. Hey, this is what I want to see. Hey, this is what I expect from you as a significant other, and things like that. And both sides, they're just saying, listen, man, we'll just take it one day at a time, which annoys the living shit out of me when it comes to relationships, because it shows the lack of thought and foresight that people actually have when it comes to relationships. Everything is just, we're just taking this one day at a time, right? And it's just like, okay, cool, one day at a time. All right, well, you had a tire blowout and you need some money, or something like that. Me as a man, what if I said, hey, listen, we're just going to take this one day at a time. I'll hit you up when I get my check. But my check, your check don't come until 2 weeks from now. Well, me not thinking ahead and taking everything one day at a time as a man means that when your tire blows out, then we're going to have to wait till my check come in. I'll find it from somewhere else. Well, you better. You know what I mean? And if you finding it somewhere else means that you're going to disrespect me in any which shape, in any manner, in any shape or form, well, then we don't need to be together. And, you can call me whatever, broke or whatever you want. But sure as shit, I'm just following what we set out in the first place, which is, you know, uh, taking this one day at a time. But I hate that. I hate that. I'm a forward-thinking person. I get quotes, estimates on jobs so that I can say, okay, hey, it's going to cost me this much to do this. I try to, be prepared for certain things. Like I tell people, like even my own family, my mom, I tell her, listen, man, I could get this whole interior redone in my house right now. But I like the fact that my cryptocurrencies are growing. So it is what it is. I'll deal with cement floors and everything that brings. I don't care. Even actually, even my homegirl, she be saying that and laughing and stuff like that, making fun of me all the time. And I'll be like, all right, cool. You think that's like I'm just gonna get floors like that? You have to change your mind with a couple things, but at the same time, um, there's the compromise of it all too. So that's just stuff you have to work out. And also, the biggest thing is just getting understanding from the other person when it comes to like blended families, relationships, or anything else like that. Is that you don't just say, "Hey, listen, this is the way it's gonna go." I like to explain the reason why it is going this way, and I think that's important that people do that. All right, so we're coming up on the 15-minute mark. I just want to say, hey guys, thank you very much for joining the streams, listening to my content. I think I got about 630 subscribers, so that's awesome. Like, that's really cool. And I appreciate that. I don't do as much produced content because it's been focusing on a couple other things, and I just haven't really felt like doing it, to be very honest. I feel bad about it to a certain extent, but to be honest, I just haven't had that. You have to have a passion or a motivation to do it. I just have not been motivated to do that, so I apologize for that. Hope you guys do like the content that I have produced before or previously, and also the content that I'll be coming out in the future in terms of discussions and streams and things like that. With that being said, if you're not taking what I say with a grain of salt, then you're low on sodium. Go ahead and do some research, do some self realization, some reflection, some introspection, and also just talk to the people around you and even your significant other if you're in a situation where you're talking about a blended family. Gain better understanding, and then also gain a better foundation to build on that relationship and raise kids and go from there. With that being said, thank you guys very much. Peace.